Hello, everybody. Welcome to Away Games, a Chicago Cubs podcast. I'll say the Chicago Cubs podcast. The Now, the statistics, download-wise, do not back that up. And I actually do listen to several of the others that are very nice.
Shout out Cup of Cubby Blue.
Yeah, that's my most. I'd say that's the one I listened to most recently too. I enjoy IVNV as well, and the Cubs related guys are good too. Anyway, we're not here to plug other people.
Yeah, who are we?
I'm Kevin McCaffrey, and that's Adam Mamawala. And we're in New York. You guys know that. We're big Cubs people. Again, it'd be weird if we weren't big Cubs people doing this podcast. That would seem like a poor choice, poor way to spend our time, I guess.
Well, they say you should be specific, and we chose something really specific that we know nothing about nor have any interest in.
Or emotional investment.
Check out our new Columbus Blue Jackets podcast that we're dropping.
Honestly, from a download perspective, business-wise, that makes more sense, probably. Yeah. You get into a real niche, get it early. But we're here, and this is actually, it's a better week to talk about the Cubs than it was last week.
Yeah, a lot has happened. We're back to basically whenever this podcast drops, if the Cubs are at home, we will be in a good mood, and if they are not, we won't.
Yeah, and I guess that's been the case this whole year, but I feel like it's really crystallized that is just the situation over the past couple of weeks.
Well, I think what's going to make us feel really, really, really good is the next time the Cubs go on the road and play well.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we were...
Right.
It
was May was the last time.
Boo.
A lot of shit's changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but good things have happened since the last time we spoke. Not only have the Cubs played well since returning to Wrigley, but they acquired Nicholas Castellanos.
Yeah.
That happened after the last time we spoke, and he has so far been exactly as advertised, and I quite like him.
I do, yeah, I do too. I think, and it seems like the Twitter sphere, and follow us at awaygamespod on both Twitter and Instagram. We're all over that. It seems like the people out there not only are loving Nick Castellanos, and they should. He's hitting over 400 with the Cubs, and he is the major league leader in doubles.
Yep.
And he has continued to hit doubles all the time. And part of that is the park that he said was a joke, the deep walls of Comerica Park in Detroit. It's very like doubles heavy there. But he's been smashing doubles all over Wrigley too, and hit his first homer that definitely would not have been a homer at the joke field. So he's very psyched about that. Also,
you've heard of the Jake. We're talking about the joke.
It's slightly north, I guess. So he's loving it. Also, it's been a while since I feel like someone came over in a trade and so clearly was excited specifically to be with the Cubs. Like the things he's been saying about it. Like, I don't know if you saw his interview after one of the home games they won recently, where he was just like, he sort of like stopped in the interview and was talking about singing Go Cubs Go and stuff. Which has to be a cool, weird new thing. I don't think most teams have a song that the fans sing after wins.
And even if the Tigers did, they wouldn't have been able to sing it more than like 14 times.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like it would. Yeah, just be a song you kind of know the words to. It's like I know the rhythm. I can't. But that I've also seen people thirsty for Nick Castellanos online.
Really?
People pretty thirsty for him. People he could have a couple of good nights
that
out.
Nick the Stick does not refer to himself.
Nope. And he's gotten like BDJ, Big Dick John. He's gotten a similar sort of abbreviation online.
That's funny.
And he's not wearing undershirts.
All about it.
Bold move.
The Cubs got to do the Reds thing and just go sleeveless pretty soon.
Yeah, totally. Very Greek, I must say. As we both live in Astoria, which is like it's been like the second.
There's a lot of Castellanos over here.
There is. Our landlords. Yeah.
How about Jay Hay on that boat though?
Jay Hay on that boat.
Woo!
Talk about thirst. This is just a thirst podcast from two straight comedians. Yeah, Jay Hay on the boat.
He was also taking batting practice with his shirt off. Did you see that?
I did not, but that's...
I wouldn't do anything with my shirt on if I looked like Jason.
I appreciate how much aggressive alpha swag that is at this point, since he's hitting the shit out of the ball, too. Mr. Leadoff.
Like, if I were to pick any Cub to recreate the 50 Cent in the Club music video, it would be Jason Heyward. Just upside down doing sit-ups on a pull-up bar.
Yeah, I assume that's just what's happening anyway.
Yeah.
But, God, since he's gone to leadoff, it has been wonderful.
Yeah, and his numbers aren't, like, amazing leading off, but, I mean, his power numbers are good. He's homered twice leading off a game.
To the same spot.
Right.
Straight up the middle, little opposite field, which is exactly how I want to see that swing working all the time anyway.
It's great. By the way, I don't know if you did listen to the most recent Cup of Cubby Blue episode. Andy and Sarah were talking about how apparently his nickname is Nick the Stick, but there was some, since apparently he does like to be called Nicholas, there was some doubt about whether or not he might like that nickname. Mm-hmm. I don't know why Nicholas the Stickless is not part of the conversation.
A good part of the lexicon now.
Yeah.
Nicholas the Stickless is, I'd say it's both sexy and fun. It's a little bit of something for everyone. So
I think that could be a good compromise.
That's good. It's a good, and look at that. We're solving problems already, which the Cubs are also, even though it has been a good week and just winning a bunch of home games, it is like, I can't remember a week that had more fun in terms of game results and that was more frustrating from like an injury standpoint.
Right. Well, I enjoyed your tweet about just as predicted, Heyward and Darvish carrying the Cubs, and let's add to that. So we've got those two things happening, and then also most dependable bullpen arm, Rowan Wick.
Yeah, absolutely. Traded for Jason Vossler was a offseason deal. One of those things that there's a million deals like that, swaps of minor leaguers.
Yeah.
That you never think twice about. Mm-hmm. So good on Theo and Jed for finding that, because Wick looks freaking real.
He looks great.
The stuff is real. 95 to 97. He doesn't seem afraid, which is a real that's a real intangible thing that's not backed up by stats. There's no fear on Fangraphs.
I got a new T-shirt idea. So it would be a Wick shirt, and on the front it would say "Lights Out." And on the back, it would say Wick, and there would be like a candle being blown out.
That's pretty good. We got to get the shit. We got that. Sosa Justice Warrior.
Fuck Clint Hurdle.
Fuck Clint Hurdle on one side, Clint Hurdle's racist on the other. And that's one where I think you make
There's
no
subtext there. It is what it is.
None whatsoever. It takes, but sometimes that's, the brevity.
I actually sold one to David Bell.
Dude, David Bell, my second favorite manager, I think now, almost in the league. I loved him going after Hurdle. That was a blast. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, he comes in, throws 95 to 97, has real good breaking balls, not walking people, know. It's lovely to see, but...
he immediately comes in last night, being Monday night, and then gets the double play ball to get him out of it.
Yeah, quick ground ball, double play. Hendricks, I feel like, much like Darvish, who's been fucking phenomenal for the last month and a half, Hendricks, both those guys just have terrible luck when it comes to the old pitcher win, you know? You look at how many wins they have, especially Hendricks, and I think over the course of his career, he just doesn't. He pitches really well and frequently does not get wins.
Right.
Gets a lot of hard luck losses, and that yesterday was a hard luck no decision. He gave up one hit, but one hit, two walks. And he gave up the 2 runs, basically just went walk homer, and that was it.
Possibly aided by an overzealous Cubs fan. That might have landed in the well.
I didn't
see that.
No, I didn't see. I didn't see that shot.
It was like to right field in that part, like right where
the curve
is, and the fan kind of like reached over. I think it still would have gone out, but like it's possible that if he hadn't reached the way he did, that it would have landed in that like little back.
Okay, area. God dang.
I know. He's very embarrassed.
Yes, he should be.
Oh, quick request. Yeah. I know you've had some sound effects, including "You blew it."
Yes.
I think for next time, I would love to get just that clip from Soulja Boy Crank That, where it just goes, "You!" Because I think at various times we may need that.
Absolutely. That's a great request. No problem. I'll get that hooked up for
and if any of you have requests, please let us know.
Yeah, exactly. awaygamespodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Holler at us. I'm a tech expert now. I can get sound effects together.
Well, and I guess we're kind of jumping around here, but I think I said to you, not on the podcast, but just because we are friends, that if you, as much as, and we were part of the, we were saying this like last year, don't you wish you had signed Arrieta? At this moment in time, based on how Arrieta is doing, he's dealing with a bone spur, he's not pitching well. Who would you rather have right now on this Cubs team? You, Darvish, as he is currently constituted, or Arrieta in this moment? I don't think it's even particularly close.
Right, and you're saying especially when you put the contracts together too, because Arrieta's only under contract for 1 more year after this. You, as we know, several. But yeah, I mean, for the first year, of course, it was Jake because Jake pitched and was decent. And he's not not the Jake we were used to. But and for the first half of this year, it was a toss up to Jake, like toss up leaning Jake too. But as we said, over the past month and a half,
in terms of the way they're trending, I guess is what I'm saying.
Trending wise, yeah. And if you had to pick starting today, which is I think what your what your question was when you asked it, as us being friends, was you have to. I mean, there's very few pitchers that are more fun to watch in the world right now than you. I love the thing he does, which I don't think he always did this, or maybe we didn't see it a lot in that first year because, he wasn't the real Darvish. But I love that you can I mean, the guy can sit 95 easy, but you can tell when he really needs a fastball, and especially in the last inning when he starts cranking it 98, 99. I love that trend of just he's got 4 more miles an hour on it if he needs it. Late is like awesome. His cutter has been statistically one of the most effective pitches in baseball.
He's mixing in like 5 pitches at this point.
Yeah, and I've seen the splitter a little more, which I've wanted to see because I felt like he was largely a 2-pitch pitcher, which is limiting it a little more because he varies the velocity on all his pitches more than most pitchers do. But he threw a beautiful 90-mile-an-hour splitter that just dove out of the zone at the bottom outside corner to a lefty. I forget which one it was, but in the Milwaukee series. And I would love to see that pitch more.
Well, it seems like his success is always going to be based on whether or not he's able to locate his fastball at any given moment. Because if he's not, then players can just sit on breaking stuff.
Right.
But right now and recently he has been, and so they have no idea what the hell's coming.
Yeah, it's great.
And he was sick on Sunday.
Yeah, he was sick.
He ain't soft.
He ain't soft. And when he was there, I thought it was one of the best crowds of the season, and not just because our friend Ken Schultz was there, but the crowd was you in it real hard, Soulja Boy you in it big time. The whole game, started chanting sweep at the right time at the end. It was awesome to see that energy and to watch the crowd really get behind Darvish like that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, how he's going, how Hendricks usually is and is back to. Cole Hamels came back looking strong. And Lester's up and down, but you really feel like when you need him, he's going to be there. It's a nice looking rotation.
It is, and obviously a long way to go. It's nice to see the Cubs back in first. As of this recording, they are up 2.5 in the division after they won last night, and the Cardinals were demolished by the Dodgers, which is there's no shame in that. But
no, a lot of people are.
If we're looking at a playoff rotation, it's really, really hard to think of how you would even line people up because you can make a case for, I'd say, really anybody except Quintana. I don't think you're going to see Darvish in like a game 1.
Right.
If we get there and it's like the regular division series, which hopefully it is. I think you can make a case for Hendricks, Lester, or Hamels.
Yeah.
And right now Darvish is as good as any of them. So
yeah.
How do you even do it?
Absolutely. I think it's I wonder if it's the kind of thing where you pick whichever one you'd like to see coming out in relief in a Game 5 situation. Maybe that's part of how you think about it, how you start stacking it up. But the starting rotation looks great. The bullpen is troublesome, as we were talking about before, really because everyone's dead. That's the main problem.
And Cishek's arm is dead.
Cishek's arm is dead. Cishek is only, I believe, as we speak, 4th in the league in appearances, which feels low. But he needs one of those mystery IL stints immediately. I know, the Pedro Strop, basically,
right?
And
hopefully Strop will be back soon, and then Cishek can kind of take that place. Because right now, Kyle Ryan was in to get the save last night.
Yeah, and then when he came out, it was Phelps.
Ooh,
so
I thought that was gone.
Yeah. Oh, that Semien. Yeah, I thought it was a 3-bomb game from Semien. I don't know how that stayed in, but I'm thankful it did. When you're ending the game with Ryan, who's been super effective, by the way. I really like Kyle Ryan in that bullpen, and Phelps. But Ryan, I really like being able to use him against a lefty or when you really need a ground ball with his ground ball numbers super high.
Right, and now that Holland is there, you don't need to use Ryan for that as much, and hopefully that allows him to be available later in games. Whereas, if you need a lefty out in the 6th inning, it would have been Kyle Ryan. Now it can be Holland for one or two batters, and he was used perfectly over the weekend.
I was just going to say that was the most, even though it was just 3 pitchers used, that was the most perfectly orchestrated game in terms of using all the pitchers and when you use them that I remember this season. I do not think Joe Maddon is very good at handling a pitching staff. I think he's maybe league average. I also think he's an extremely good manager overall. Yeah. But Yu Darvish went 5 and he was great, but the Brewers were hitting 1 million foul balls. Also, he was sick.
Right.
And his pitch count was nearing 100. Then brought in Holland.
And some sloppy defense didn't help.
Yes, exactly. Kemp blew one. Rizzo had an error, which is weird. But then, Holland came in to face the string of lefties. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you want. And then Chatwood came in with the old classic 1970s catfish hunter style, or Raleigh Fingers, like a 3-out save, or a 3-inning save, excuse me. That was great. It was nice to see. But now we're looking at bullpen. So basically, Kimbrel injured where it's like, what? What was? I thought he was fine, and then turns out he tweaked his knee. Something he said he could pitch through, but it's he's on the 10-day.
Yeah, I got the impression from the way he was talking about it that it was like, if the playoffs were going on, I would be out there pitching, but why aggravate it?
Right, and I think that's the right call. It's also a call I wish Cubs management would make more often. I feel like one thing this team consistently does poorly is use the 10-day IL. There's so many times where a guy's ineffective for several days and then given 2 or 3 days of a break in the time span where you would have gotten a lot more out of just calling someone else up or start.
I remember that being a real thing that frustrated us last year in particular. Was like, that's what that is there for. Why do we keep waiting until halfway through what would have been the 10 days to then retroactively do it?
Yeah, it makes no sense, and they weirdly have not gotten better at it. Chris Bryant's really been struggling.
So, he's 3 for his last 34, I read, with no walks in that span, which is even more disturbing than just the...
It really seems like he's just trying to attack early and get out of there, and I don't know if that's strategically exactly what he's doing or not, but it seems like Bryant's a guy who could use the IL, but Contreras is on there now. That fucking sucks.
You could tell immediately the way he pulled up, like that's at least a month.
The MRI just happened, and they predicted 4 weeks, but with hamstrings, it's like whatever they predict, add another week at least, So if
just after trading Maldonado, which is really sucky.
Yeah. So it's that hurts. And then Kinsler, who's been so effective, also he has a pec problem now.
Did you see any update on that?
No, I assume by the time this we're recording this Tuesday afternoon, so I assume the Kinsler official move will have been made by the time this podcast is out, but it seems like it's leaning towards an IL stint for Kinsler too. So Dwayne Underwood is already up, and then we're looking at, okay, so who else is out there? And there's basically every pitcher, every reliever in the Iowa bullpen right now, besides Underwood, who's already up and has been effective down there. Who's basically he's been in the system forever. It feels like.
Has he been starting or pitching out of the bullpen?
Starting for most of the run, but this year bullpen. This year full on bullpen. I think he sits around 95, 97, but really his changeup is his best pitch. So now that he can be more of a 2-pitch pitcher in the bullpen, it's more effective. Yada yada. But Dakota Mekkes was a guy who was super dominant last year and for some of this year, but has hit struggles lately. Danny Holtzen is a left-hander that the Cubs picked up who was a former super high draft pick. I want to say like 2nd or 3rd overall. Top 10 definitely overall, who's sort of like prospect that didn't pan out. But he's been pitching very well.
Yeah.
So we might end up seeing Danny Holtzen.
What about my boy Randy Rosario?
Randy Rosario's down there too. He has a 9 ERA over the last few weeks.
Mio.
Dios mio, indeed. Yeah, but but Rosario's also a guy who's got experience up here, and he's always the dude who the peripherals don't make sense, but the results have been fine.
Well, and then the Cubs just signed Alex Wilson.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
Yeah. Do you know who that is?
No.
He was a reliever, I think, most recently for the Brewers. He's bounced around. Basically, he was with the Brewers AAA affiliate in San Antonio and had been pitching a lot better there. And then the Cubs acquired him, I think, yesterday. So I think he'll go to AAA, but then may be up if the Cubs need him, which it seems like they likely will.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I hadn't seen that. The guy we got for Carl Edwards, another guy we shipped
Big
out.
boy, right?
Yeah, big. I've seen him listed at 6'7" and 6'9", so he's somewhere.
So he's 6'8".
Yeah, right.
So he's 6'5".
So he's 6'5", exactly. Yeah, going by wrestling rules, where it's like the Big Show, 7'2". He's 6'9". But Brad, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but like Wieck or Week. Hopefully not Week. Let's go Wieck. He has not been doing great lately, but that's another lefty down there. It could get creative, but one thing I hope we see is Tyler Chatwood used more, and because he's been really good in that bullpen, and but it seems like they've been afraid to use him.
Tandem could be fun.
It is fun. Yeah, it is a lot of, just, are we sure that he's not just putting on a mustache and, like, just we're reusing?
He's like that ambidextrous pitcher, he just switches his glove.
Pat Venditti, or Venditti, he was great. But hopefully Strop will be back soon. It's just a mess in that bullpen. Thankfully, the offense has been significantly better, mainly because Schwarber's hot. Schwarber's been great. Strikeouts way down, power up.
Again, Castellanos has been great. He was, I think, a triple short of the cycle yesterday.
Yeah, and Castellanos has been great. And then even though Bryant has been struggling, Rizzo's power hasn't been there, but he's been hit for a high average lately. And Javi seems like he's ready to be on a tear again. You know, with the 2 homers, he's just hitting pop-ups to left. You know.
How about your boy Ian Happ?
My boy Ian Happ. That is the other main thing I wanted to talk about this week. I'm glad we have so much more to talk about this week than we did last week. Yeah, cheap 474, but yeah, on a full count, 96 mile an hour sort of tailing 2-seamer. Ian Happ working a good at bat and just blasting a motherfucker way over the right field wall. Play Ian Happ. Play him at second base. We played Daniel Murphy at second base last year. Who
also Kemp's not that great.
No, Kemp.
I don't mind. He's been fine.
Kemp is fine. Kemp has had 3 starts at second base since Ian Happ has had a single start anywhere. That makes no sense. Kemp has been fine.
Credit to Kemp for taking a ball right in his belt.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Credit for
the old Brandon belt.
The smallest guy on the team taking it was a 106 off the bat, which is just, you're just getting pegged by a 106 mile an hour fastball there, but he did it in an important spot, and it helped save the game. Tony Kemp,
start Happ there.
Yeah, Tony Kemp, I have no problems with that. He's a good option to use once a week, twice a week as a starter to give someone breaks. Ian Happ needs to be starting at second base.
Yeah, I'm more into Temp Kemp.
Temp Kemp, yes. I prefer a Temp Kemp situation as well. One of the most fun. He
listed at 6'7" or 6'9".
He's listed at 5'6". So does he even exist? It's hard to say. Is Tony Kemp a figment of our imaginations? Tony Kemp's inside of all of us. Have you seen the cartwheel backflip he does before every game now? Very springy.
Between him and Tariq Cohen, there's some real athletic.
Short guys.
Chicagoans, right?
Yeah, like athletic short dude, a bunch of 5'6" athletes doing fun stuff.
You ever see that clip of Tariq Cohen doing a backflip while catching 2 footballs?
No.
It's the dumbest thing ever. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He has somebody throw him 2 footballs, and he bare hands both of them as he's doing a backflip.
That reminds me of, have you seen the video, the Instagram video of the Bears finding out what their Madden ratings are?
No, that's hilarious.
It's really great.
That's great.
Yeah, check it out. Tariq Cohen is one of the ones who has listened to it.
Is he excited?
He has some disagreements.
Okay.
They all have disagreements.
That's really
But
funny.
it's like 5 or 6 of them, and it's a great video. Check that out on Instagram. But yeah, Ian Happ just needs to be starting at second base more, and in the outfield sometimes they've been getting him in most of the games late as a sort of quasi-defensive replacement, but he's taken his walks.
Yeah.
He's getting on base over OBP over 400 since he came back. Obviously hammered the shit out of the ball. Had a game-winning RBI in St. Louis, another RBI the other day. I want to see him playing, and it really frustrates me if it just seems like, I don't know whether it's Madden or the front office just not believing he can play second.
You're saying that Happ's Madden rating is not where it should be.
Yes, Happ's MADDON rating is he should have a lot of beef with. For sure.
Well, I sincerely hope that we have seen the last of Addison Russell and Daniel Descalso in Chicago this year, and I think we have.
It seems like it because Zobrist is on his way back.
Right.
So Zobrist is in. He's in South Bend. Last I saw, he had a 2-hit game the other day. He's working his way back, hopefully here by the end of the month. So, yeah, when you get Zobrist back involved, David Bodie is here too, as far as second baseman go. Kemp, Happ, Garcia, too.
Well, he's back down, obviously, right?
Right, Robel's back down. But there's enough options, basically. I think the only way you hopefully the only way you would see see Addison Russell with the major league team again this year is if Javi, knock on wood, got hurt. As I would assume they would use him as the primary shortstop, but let's not.
That would be not good.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
We're having fun. We're having fun right now.
So 2 more against the A's.
Yes.
Tonight is Lester and Brett Anderson, our old pal.
Yeah, who did really well with the A's last year. I think he's doing all right this year. He was a signing that I really agreed with. It just didn't work out for him here.
Yeah. But he's a good guy to take a flyer on. It just didn't work out.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then I think tomorrow is Q versus Homer Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the real test. I mean, there's no reason that the Cubs should not win one of the next 2 games against the A's. Hopefully both.
Sure.
But then you've got a 4-game set at Cincinnati, and the Cubs need to win on the road.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Yeah, 3 of fucking 4.
Yeah.
Do it. Please.
Are they going to face Bauer? Probably.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, chances are.
Yeah.
He thinks he can pitch every 2 days anyway, so I don't know how they're using him. But, yeah, I assume they're facing Bauer in that series.
I wish they could see him at Wrigley so he could throw a ball off the scoreboard.
Yeah, exactly. Get a little traditional, hit a traditional scoreboard out there at center from Bauer's perspective, you friggin' weirdo. Yeah, it really does seem like it's weird that the team playing well over the past week, it coincides with so many friggin' injuries. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's.
I guess better now than if Wilson pulls up.
Right.
Lay him at midway through September, you're looking at not having him for a playoff run.
Right. At this point, it's more like, okay, the offense is playing well enough to sustain. The offense and the rotation is playing well enough to sustain for now. Great. And then hopefully you get these guys back and fresh and peaking at the right time as you head into October. And the schedule just came out, the postseason schedule. So I've entered it into my Google Calendar.
Oh, yeah.
But if you guys check that out, that's publicly available now. It's always weird to me that the postseason schedule doesn't come out until like around now.
You know what? I think maybe I had access to some secret information that I shouldn't have, but I had those dates before.
Okay.
I found
How long ago?
Like I always at some point early in the season will Google like postseason calendar.
I've always known.
I've always somewhere in my heart I always knew. I guess.
Because I looked for it like within the past month and still couldn't find it.
I have a screenshot saved on my desktop that I've had for like 2 or 3 months that has those same dates.
I could be wrong.
Somebody knew. No. I mean, you're right. So it was just like an announcement, but all of the dates are the same. So
yeah,
maybe I got some leaked information.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned to you, I found out that I'm doing a comedy festival in Atlanta the first weekend in October, and if the season ended today, the Cubs would play in Atlanta on that Thursday and Friday. So I may try to bring what used to be my good luck to the Cubs.
It's still overall quite a run.
It's good. And playoff-wise, it's very good.
Right. Yeah. You were at the Game 5 in Washington.
I was
in 2017.
I've been at 2 very good Game 5s.
The World Series Game 5 and the Washington craziness.
Yeah. Do you think it would be expensive to go to a playoff game in Atlanta? Are Braves fans like crazy enough that it would be like hundreds of dollars?
I think actively no.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's changed that much, but back in the day when the Braves were in the playoffs all the time, you could just walk up and get a ticket for a division series. So so I assume that it'll be a very blue crowd if that is what ends up happening. Braves are really good. The good teams are really good.
Yeah, they're good. But also, I mean, as we sit here now, I think the Cubs are only like 3 behind the Braves. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm not – believe me, I'm not on August 6th proclaiming the Cubs to be the division champs because we've seen how this goes.
Oh, yeah.
And we could easily be sitting here a week or 2 weeks from now being like, all is lost, the Cubs suck again.
Yes,
because they've just been really – other than like the end of 2015 and 2016, the Cubs have largely been an enigma.
Yeah, they've been –
regular season.
They've been good. They've been good, but it's been sort of weird streaky, I think.
Yeah, it hasn't been, especially this year more than any other year. It hasn't been like, every week they generally will, win 4 of 7 or 5 of 7. It's like you're either going to be 9-1 in 10 games or like 3-7.
Yeah.
And it's been very much based on home or away.
Yeah, it's the home and away splits are really weird this year, and Theo I think came out and said like we're embarrassed about it, and
and you don't win in the playoffs without winning on the road.
Yeah, especially coming from the seed the Cubs are going to be coming from.
Right, and the point was made too, like of all the teams that should be good on the road, just from a support perspective, like the Cubs have so many fans every road game.
Right. Thinking about it from that perspective, if it's just the vibe of the park, it's you would think the pressure that whatever pressure comes from a home crowd, it would be more mitigated when the Cubs are.
It would have to help. I mean, if you play on the Rays and you're going to Fenway, there is going to be one guy in a Rays jersey out of 42,000 people.
Yeah, and he's doing a bit. He's like not. He's just like
he just hates himself. And he's there to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, exactly. It's. Yeah, hopefully in Cincinnati, which always is very blue when the Cubs are there. That can be the start of. You don't even have to dominate on the road. 500 this road shit for a while. You're a better team than this. This is, and they've this week's been the performance has been good. So hopefully it's moving that direction.
So they have 4 against Cincinnati, and then I think basically the Cubs play like all of the NL East. They're like in Philly for 3, then I think home against Washington for 3. Then at the Mets for 3, and hopefully we'll be. I think I may be at all 3 of those. I know you'll be at probably at least 1.
It depends on when I get back into town. I'm traveling a lot. If you're going to be,
the Mets are hot right now.
The Mets are, which for me, I'm like, okay, hopefully that means they will have cooled by the time they're playing the Cubs, because the Mets pitching is great. It's a great pitching staff. I don't think the lineup doesn't scare me terrifically, but besides a couple of guys, like Alonso he's a scary man, but. That's a tough run. I mean, Washington is playing more like what you expect their talent to be, and then Philadelphia is tough. Atlanta, it's a tough schedule. But hopefully I'll be back so we can kick it at Citi Field again, as we have for many years in a row, at least once at this point.
Oh yeah.
I'll be in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Oklahoma City doing stand up. If any listeners live there, I'll be there over the next couple weeks. But I think that's about all we got for this week, right? Is there anything else I'm missing?
Unless there's some big update that's happened while we've been talking.
I'll do a quick. Let's see. I'll do a quick check. To see.
This episode brought to you by Quick Check. We have sandwiches.
that sounds great.
Have you heard of Quick Check?
No.
It's like a New Jersey. It's like a Wawa or like 7-Eleven sort of place.
Okay, cool. Wawa is also like a Jersey-ish place, right? And not just a complaint sound. Players Weekend announced for August 23rd to 25th. Uniforms and nicknames are out.
Ooh.
So, you want to do a rundown of those?
Yes.
Sure, let's do that. Ended on something fun. Albert Almora Jr., Tico.
Same as it's been.
Baez, same as it's been. Okay. David Bodie, same. Boat.
Okay.
KB for Chris Bryant. Chris gets a reputation for being boring, and I was telling someone the other day, if you actually listen to him, he's particularly not boring as a baseball talker.
He should have gotten boring on the back of his jersey.
Oh, for St. Louis, too, especially.
Oh, wait, it's in St. Louis?
No. I was just saying, just because of the St. Louis connection and like whatever people think Chris Bryant is boring, and he's not as a talker. He actually, I mean, as evidenced by the boring comment, he'll like talk a little shit, and he has a good sense of humor. Remember the Red Bull video? It's like that was a good remote comedy piece that he was good in. But KB is an incredibly boring
Jersey selector,
right? Caratini, Vic, also boring. Nicholas Castellanos. Artist.
Artist?
Artist. That's great. This guy rules.
We gotta get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, artist. Tyler Chatwood, Chatty.
He's just going with Madden's nickname?
Yeah, Chatty's boring too. Cishek, Speed Pass. That's a good one.
There's a funny story about that.
Yeah, he worked at a gas station, right, or something, or a toll booth.
I think it's like something that like, you and I would do. Yeah, that like he was like his friend saw him that he was working at a gas station and like started calling him Speed Pass. Just to be dicks. What up, Speed Pass?
Yeah, and he's and look at him now. His arm's about to fall off. Wilson Contreras going straight up Venezuela on the back of the jersey. U Darvish, Usan, YU-SAN. That's fun. Sure. Okay. Taylor Davis, BTD. So maybe Big Taylor Davis. That's fun.
BTD.
Yeah. Big Taylor.
Is it like
Davis.
him wanting to say Big Dick Taylor but switching it?
Maybe. Yeah. I like it. Whatever it is. It's mysterious and fun. Ian Happ, Happer. Cole Hamels, Hollywood. Gotta love that. Kyle Hendricks, Hendo. Jay Hay. Derek Holland, Dutch. Tony Kemp, this Chieng, Chieng.
Like Ronnie Cheng, stand-up comedian?
Yeah, like funny stand-up comedian from The Daily Show. Yeah, so that's got a story. Craig Kimbrell's is good. Dirty Craig. I like that. Brandon Kinsler, Salt, of course. John Lester now.
What is the origin of that? Because I've heard him called that. But
I think he's just kind of like salty. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong, but yeah. But that's I heard that explanation once, and we're going supposedly with it. Right. John Lester, he's gone with the, because I think he just had Lester the first, he just kept it. So he's full on trolling, and he's just left-hander on the back of his jersey now. So that's, that I like. Brandon Morrow, what? Like he exists? He did have another procedure, and he said,
"Man, could we use him?"
I know. He said he thinks he's a month away, which Brandon Morrow's
a month away should have been on the back of that jersey.
A month away. Oh man, that would have been the perfect Brandon Morrow jersey name. 1 month away, always. No matter, time is a flat circle. If you're Brandon Morrow, you're always 1 month.
Is there enough room for 10-day IL?
Yeah, 10-day IL for number 4 ever.
And I hope somewhere in San Diego the string bean slinger lives on.
I hope he's doing great out there. David Phelps, Phelpsy, Quintana, Lilo, Anthony Rizzo, Stitch, JK, Anthony Rizzo, Tony, Kyle Ryan, that's kind of fun, KR91, Schwarber, Schwarbs, Stropey, Rowan Wick, Rowe. And that's your nicknames.
Honestly, that was disappointing.
Disappointing, but the fun ones.
Artist
from Castellanos is great. Speed Pass, still good, like it used to be. El Mago, you still got to, that works. Hollywood for Hamels, that's having some fun. I do like left-hander from Leicester this year. Dirty Craig, great.
What would yours be?
Oh, man, that's a great question. Like, my real nicknames, it would probably just be The Face. Because when I was in college, that became a nickname.
The Face?
The Face.
What's that based on?
Because
you have a face?
I do have a face. A lot of people don't know that about me. Because I hosted the TV show where where I met my wife and a lot of my best friends. I basically started or took over this show and like ran it and hosted it for 4 years. And my good friend John Daly would refer to me when he was talking to other people. He's like, The Face, like kind of almost a Speed Pass situation, like the face of the show, the face, kind of
like kind of tongue in cheek.
Yeah, and so
Mr. Big Shot over here.
And then when I worked at Letterman, that got out, and then people loved it, and people would be like, "What up, face?" So
nice.
It'd probably be The Face. How about you?
BDA.
BDA.
No. Yeah. I probably just like Mama.
Mama's pretty good for Mama Walla. Yeah. Mama Wawa, to do a little throw to your Jersey roots.
That just sounds like Barbara Walters saying my last name.
Which would be fun to do too. Cool. So that's that's good. That's good for this week. Thanks for listening, everybody. Fun players' nicknames coming out. That's good.
By next week, we will find out what sort of art Castellanos does.
I can't wait to find out. @AwayGamesPod on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for listening, everybody.